Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Love here. I told you last week that we were going to be doing an MIgardener seed haul, and I finally got them in. I got them in last week, but last week was a really crazy week, so I'm just now being able to do this. Sorry for the hold up. So let's start out with the cold weather varieties. These are going to be the things that I'm going to be planting starting tomorrow and into the first couple weeks of March. They are hardy in the cold. I'm up here in 6B. I'm in the Sierra Nevada region, north of Reno, north of Lake Tahoe. I'm up in an elevation of around 5,500 feet. I'm on the very top of the mountain. We're in a desert region up here, so we have a very short growing season. So some things I'm going to have to start really early in the house, and as it warms up, just put them out and hope that they're going to be okay and that I'll be able to harvest most things. I know that there's some things I'm going to have trouble with. So first of all, I have the American flag leek. Leeks are one of my very favorite bulb type like onions. They go really good in soups. As a matter of fact, I just made a soup the other night, a vegetable soup that had eggplant and tomatoes and leeks and onions. I just love leeks. I love the flavor of them and the texture, especially when they get a little soft from being cooked. So these are going to be one of the very first things I start. So next is the purple Vienna kohlrabi. Now I've never had kohlrabi before. I have no idea what it tastes like. I went onto some videos and I heard that kohlrabi tastes like a cross between a cucumber and cabbage. And I like both of those. So hopefully I'll like these. So these are the purple Vienna kohlrabi. They're so pretty. So one thing that I did hear about these, that the growth habit is different for the green and the purple. The green is more round, where the purple one is kind of flat on top, which that doesn't matter to me at all. So those will be started soon too. Next is radishes. I love radishes. I've heard a lot of people talk about roasting them. I had never had them roasted until last year. I'd always boiled them. I liked them boiled with some salt. They were really good that way. At least I thought so. My favorite radish that I've found so far is this purple plum. I just think it's so pretty, and the flavor is just so, it's sweet and it's a delicate, it's not real harsh like a lot of radishes are. That's why that one's my favorite. My fiance's favorite is this one, which is the French breakfast. I do like this one too, but it does have a bite to it. I don't mind that bite, but I do prefer the purple plum over this one. But yeah. Now we have the carrots. It's the Parisian carrot. It's just so tiny. It's so cute. So I haven't had this yet. I'm looking forward to trying it. I grew some of these last year. It's the purple carrot. They were really good. I have a problem with carrots because I get them in the ground, and since I can't see them, I don't know how big they are. I don't know if they're ready, and once you pull them up, you can't put them back. I mean, you can if you want to, but yeah. So my fiance Rick, he's always telling me, yeah, we'd have more carrots if you would just leave them alone. And I know that's true. Okay, next we have a beet, a Ruby Queen. I haven't had these yet. I'll let you know what I think of them. So all of those, they shouldn't, besides the kohlrabi, I'm sure the kohlrabi and the leeks are going to take a while, but everything else will be up fairly soon. We'll probably be harvesting some of them early spring. Okay, next I have the Oregon Giant Snow Pea. I'm hoping that these will do well in my region. I guess we'll find out. These are going to be going out tomorrow into my garden. I'm going to sow them directly into my raised garden beds. They'll come up when they're ready. Red acre cabbage. I grew this last year. I love red cabbage. I prefer it over the green, really. I just got done using my last cabbage from last year as well. It lasts a really long time. It stores well. That's what I really, really liked about it. And I was surprised at how good it did here in the heat of the desert mountain. Did very well. Now I've gotten this from the store. I've never grown it. And it's the purple sprouting broccoli. I think it's beautiful. We love anything purple here. Purple's my favorite color. And if I can get something that's purple, I definitely will. So there's the purple sprouting broccoli. Now we love spinach here. I'm not a big lettuce fan. I like baby greens. I have some Marvel of Four Seasons that's already started, and I have this baby mix that's sitting here in front of me that's doing quite well. I'll show you. Isn't that pretty? I fertilized it for the first time this morning. It's just doing so well, and I've already taken one cutting off of it. It's time again. I think I'm going to be putting it probably into a long pot outside and just putting it on top of the soil and seeing how it grows. Hopefully it'll grow into the soil. But so we don't eat iceberg. I don't like iceberg lettuce at all. It just lacks flavor to me, pretty much any flavor at all. So we prefer the baby greens and leaf lettuce. But most of all, we grow spinach. I can have a plain spinach salad with a vinaigrette on top, and that's perfectly fine for me. I really enjoy it. So this is the red Malabar spinach. It vines, which I find that just amazing that a spinach vines. I had no idea. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Next I have giant noble spinach. Now this is one of the lettuces that I'm really looking forward to. It is the Freckles romaine lettuce, and I think it's just so pretty. It's got freckles all over it. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Now on to kale. I have several different kinds of kale. I had feathered frills kale. I have scarlet kale. Now I still have some of this out in my garden right now. My dogs seem to like to eat it though. So I haven't been able to harvest any of it. So I'm really looking forward to starting my kale again. We're in the process right now of putting up a new fence because the puppies we have are new to the family. And they are puppies. and they like to get into everything. They like to destroy everything, and I don't want them destroying my garden. So they're going to get their own area. I get mine. Blue curled kale. I think that's pretty. I just love that color. Okay, and next is red shiso. So last year I went to a nursery in town, and I found this plant. I had never seen it before, but it resembled like a purple basil is what it resembled to me. So I went ahead and I picked it up and brought it home, and it grew tremendously. It was about 3 foot tall. The foliage is just beautiful. And it did get these little flowers, but they were inconspicuous flowers that didn't look like flowers at all. I'll probably find out if it self-sowed itself back in, because it is an annual. And if so, we're going to have shiso there for a long time, and we're fine with that. Shiso has a flavor between many different things. It's kind of like a basil and a fennel, and a anise. It's very, very good. It's just strange at first. At first I didn't know what to think of it, just because that flavor was so different. Next I have rhubarb, Swiss chard. I grew a lot of Swiss chard last year, all different colors, but I have to say that the rhubarb and like the magenta, those colors were the ones that I really, really enjoyed, just because they were so pretty to look at. Next, we're going to go on to eggplant. I grew eggplant last year for the first time. I've had eggplant from time to time. It's just something I don't buy it from the store. But last year when we grew it, I used it quite a bit, and I found myself going out to the garden hoping that there was more ready to harvest. So I got Casper eggplant. I've never grown this one before. I'm excited to. I just think that it's neat that it's white. So this is the one that I grew last year. It's the long purple. I think this might be the same as like the Ichiban, which is what I grew last year. But they look identical. I don't know if they're considered the same or not. But now this eggplant, I just think is so cute. It's the Rosa Blanca. Look at those. Yeah, I'm looking forward to those. I want to get some big eggplant too. I like it in soups, like I had mentioned earlier with the leeks. I find it goes well with onions and tomatoes, kind of like a casserole. It was really good. Next are the cucumbers. Have the lemon cucumber. I've never had this before. I'm looking forward to it as well. And the muncher cucumber. Next we're going on to squash. So I had never had a scallop squash until last year, and my fiance was kind of shocked by that. Last year we grew the Peter Pan, and it's a light green, somewhat large scallop squash. This year we got yellow bush scallop squash, white bush, and green scallop bennings. That is such a pretty color. I like the pale green. Going on to the zucchini squash. Now, I love zucchini. We eat zucchini a lot. I love to grill it on the grill. That char from the grill is just amazing to me. And it doesn't cook it to where it's like really mushy. I don't like it real mushy. I like it to have a crunch to it. I've never had this one before. It's an Italian striped. So I'm looking forward to this one as well. Golden Summer zucchini. I grew this one last year, and this was my favorite zucchini from last year. This outperformed everything. I had so much gold zucchini, and it was amazing. To me, it seems like it has a lighter, delicate flavor. And then 8-ball zucchini squash. Now, last year I grew a cupcake squash that was similar to this, but somewhat different. The ones that I grew last year were round, but a little bit flatter than what these are. So I'm looking forward to this. Hopefully they're going to be somewhat the same. And then the early prolific straight neck. And on to the winter squash. Can you tell we like squash around here? The sweet meat winter squash. I'm looking forward to that. Now, delicata. Delicata, I see this in our grocery stores here all the time, but it's sold as a summer squash, not a winter. So I'm thinking that I can pick these while they're still small and use them as a summer squash, or I can wait until they get bigger, and when you scrape on the skin of it, if you don't scrape anything off, then they're ready to harvest as winter squash. So that'll be something I'm looking forward to trying as well. Now, Burgess Buttercup. I did grow this last year. I bought 2 plants from the local nursery here, but it was later in the year, and by the time that they went into the ground, I really do think that it was just too late. And our weather was really, really erratic last year. We had warm temperatures and then cold temperatures, and you didn't know what each day was going to be like. And I think that by the time that these got put in, it was real warm, and then it started cooling down. And I think that they just didn't like it. I think it stunted their growth. I got one fruit off of those 2 plants, and by the time September rolled around, I had little baby fruits that were coming on, and it was finally starting to want to produce. And in September, the middle of September, we got our first freeze, which was down in the 20s, and there were a lot of things that we lost. So I'm going to get these started in the house. I'm going to get them put out early, maybe early April. No, I can't do April. I have to wait till, yeah, I'll get them put out like right after May 21st. So early June. Now, I also grew these last year, and I got a few of them. It's the jumbo pink banana squash. I love these. These were so good, and they are ginormous. And they lasted for a long time. They held up really, really well for storage. I do think that these crossed with my butternut squash. I'm not sure, but my butternut squash were almost banana squash-like. They got so big. The shape was just odd. The next squash I have is the sweet dumpling winter squash. I've never had this one either, so I'm looking forward to it as well. Now the next one is the loofah gourd. Now, like I said, we have a short growing season here. I do not think I'm going to get anything from these. I don't think I'm going to get any loofah. If I do, I'll be surprised. But I want to try. What's the harm in trying? Okay, guys, are you ready for tomatoes? Now, we are big on squash, tomatoes, and peppers. We love hot peppers here. I have a problem with eating bell peppers. They upset my stomach. Which is kind of funny that bell peppers upset my stomach and hot peppers don't. So, got the Amish paste, tomato. I'm really looking forward to all of these. Now, I grew this one last year. It's a Cherokee Purple. I ended up getting 2 seed packs of this. One from MIgardener and then the other one from Baker Creek. So I'll be growing one of them, or I'll just do an experiment to see how each one does, what the difference is between them. Costoluto Genovese. I do not think that this picture does this tomato justice. If you watch Jess on Roots and Refuge, and if you've ever seen her tomatoes, her Costoluto Genovese that she picks, they are absolutely gorgeous, and their red color when they're ripe is gorgeous. So I'm really looking forward to this. I've never had it. Next we have the pink ox heart. This is another one I've never had. I'm looking forward to it as well. I plan on doing a lot of canning this year. My canner that I had last year, I was kind of sketchy about using it because it was old and it had a lot of oxidization inside, and I just didn't trust it. So I didn't really do much pressure canning. I did a hot water bath, the water bath canning. The next tomato that we have is the vintage wine. And this is another one that I have not tried yet. I'm really, really excited about this one. The Ukrainian purple. It resembles the kind of tomatoes that I like to buy from the store because they're the only tomatoes that don't taste like disappointment from the store. So, a black cherry tomato. I grew this one last year and we loved it. The size of it, it's not really like a cherry. I mean, it is a cherry tomato, but I feel like it's a little bit bigger. It's not real small. And we got some Aunt Molly's ground cherries. Another thing I'm looking forward to. I've never had these. I've had these grow in my garden before, back when I lived back east. And I knew that they were edible. I just had so much other stuff going on that I didn't even bother with these. They just grew all over the place. And they just ended up reseeding themselves and never did anything with them. And I wish I would have. Purple tomatillos. Now, I grew green last year and I made a bunch of salsa verde, which was really, really good. So, I don't know. The thought of purple salsa verde to me is just kind of strange. Just something. Yeah. Okay, on to the peppers. Now, I didn't get very many peppers, but I do have a lot of peppers from Baker Creek. So, we got the lemon habanero. And then these two are sweet peppers, and I haven't had either one of these. We have the cubanelle. And the Jimmy Nardello. I'm looking forward to all of those as well. Now that's all I have for this seed haul from MIgardener. We did go to Home Depot over the weekend and got a seedless Concord grape. And we have a grape outside already, but it's being choked out by, I have two arborvitaes that are next to each other, and the grape is in the middle. And the arborvitaes have gotten so big that they're just choking out the grape. So early this spring, I plan on cutting those down. I really don't want them where they're at. I'll plant this next to the other one and hope that they'll do good once those arborvitaes are gone. Now I also got a Chicago hardy fig. Which is right here. Now I had a fig in my yard in California. I lived in Central California when I was a little girl, and we had a fig on the side of the property. I loved it. I'd never had figs before. That's when I found out that I liked them. One thing I can say about a fig that I remember from when I was 9 years old is that as they drop on the ground, in your yard, on your lawn, they are very, very messy. Very messy. And another thing I have over here, I'm not going to be able to get it because it's a vine, and I kind of have it out of the way right now, and I have it vining up. I could probably turn the camera around just so you can see it. Is the hardy kiwi. I have it vining up there. Yeah, so this is what I have going on here. Got my basil and my thyme over there. I got my holy basil here. And lemongrass here. And this is my Marvel of Four Seasons lettuce, which I don't think is doing all that well. It's time for that to go out. But yeah, that's what I've got going on there. So really, that's about all I have right now. Thank you guys for joining me today. I will be uploading some videos here soon. I plan on getting out into the garden and start prepping it. If you haven't subscribed, please do so if you like the video. Hit the thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day, everybody.